Makes you think that money is the main factor in what a traditional relationship is?
Because it's not about him making more than you. If we talking about tradition, the woman wasn't working. The woman was at the crib. Like Big Mama was at the crib raising them 10 kids that they was having back in the day because birth control was trash. She was at the crib. So it's like, again, my livelihood is tied to this man. So it's like, of course I'm going to stay. Because like a lot of these older people, like they like to harp on tradition and say, the divorce rates was way lower back in the day than they are now. True, but it's because her livelihood was tied to dude. Today, most women are making their own bread, getting their own bags, setting up their own plays. So it's like, I'm going to be way less willing to tolerate bullshit. And bullshit meaning families across the tracks. Bullshit meaning a bunch of stepkids, him cheating on you, him doing whatever the case may be, because your livelihood is not tied to him.
Facts, man. First of all, shout out to Crew Season. They make really good content. I advise y'all check them out. This is the main reason why I talk about how modern women want a man who's traditional, but they themselves don't want to be traditional, which I think is fine. We need to figure out a new way of doing things because this is not back in the 50s and 60s when like when my grandfather had 8 kids. I'm sorry, my dad's dad had 7 kids with my grandmother, and he was the only one making money. And he wasn't like making $100,000 a year. He had a regular job. Back then it was a different system. But now these jobs don't pay that much. And you actually need 2 incomes in order to pretty much survive if you're really trying to have a family. So I think it's a good thing when a man goes 50-50. Everybody ain't millionaires out here. Everybody ain't celebrities. Everybody ain't, you know what I'm saying? The average person is making $40,000 to $50,000 a year. But for some reason, women still want men to be traditional, but they themselves don't want to be traditional. It's kind of like wanting to have your cake and eat it too. But there are women out there like my wife, who, I was just talking to my wife yesterday. She's not like modern women. She's actually more traditional than anything. Actually, she's modern and traditional because she doesn't really care what I bring to the table. She didn't really care. All she really wanted from me is that I was a true man of God. She wanted to marry. Her desire was to marry a man of God who really loved the Lord and was really following God. That's who she wanted to be led by. She wanted to be led by a man of God. Because when she married me, I didn't even have a job at the time. Like, I got married to her and found a job 2 weeks later. We was already together for like a year or so. But you know what I'm saying? I've known her for a long time. So my wife tells me, look, everybody ain't like that, bruh. Like, you be making this content about women like we all like that. We not all like that. Like, look how, basically she was saying, like, look how she was to me. And I'm realizing, like, yeah. So my next video is going to be about not the nature of a woman, but the nurture of a woman. A woman's environment, her upbringing, and her group of friends plays a big part in the type of woman she is. And that's not talked about often.